Hey everybody, it's Jeannie with Jeannie's Palette, and today I'm painting with a common canvas, and our playlist theme for this week is art and healing, or art through adversity, things that art helps us with on our journey of healing. And today's playlist is linked in my description, so make sure you check out all the other amazing artists and their stories for this week's playlist. So let's get started painting. Losing a loved one is always painful, but when the loss is drawn out, it can be even more complex. My mother was once a highly intelligent, motivated, caring, and giving person, but Alzheimer's slowly stole those qualities from her. Over the course of several years, I watched my vibrant mother become someone who could no longer dress herself, no longer bathe herself, or even feed herself. She could not choose what she wore, she could not choose what she ate, and she could not even choose when to get up or when to go to bed. Through her journey, she never lost her sweet smile or her words of, "I love you." As her condition progressed, my family and I made difficult decisions, and I spent the last 8 years of her life helping my dad care for her at home. The role of caregiver took a toll emotionally, physically, and mentally, and I rarely spent a night in my own home for those latter years of her life. During this time, I also received a diagnosis of my own, cancer, and ultimately lost my left kidney. It felt like an additional weight on top of everything else. While I was still processing my own health crisis, I was also caring for my mom, watching her slowly fade away. Through it all, I never let go of my love of art. I found peace in painting, often spending hours in silence while she was napping. It became a form of expression, a way to channel the overwhelming emotions of watching my mother slip away, and a means to process everything I was going through. It was in those quiet moments with my paintbrush that I could feel God's presence, helping me navigate the complexities of grief while providing me with a form of spiritual solace. Through the brushstrokes, I could express what words could not: my frustration, my sorrow, my love, my anger at a disease that was stealing my mother from me, my best friend. The peace I experienced in those moments was not from my own strength, but from God's healing power, which sustained me even when I felt weak. I could sense His presence, whispering reassurance that He was with me through every brushstroke, through every tear. Even though my circumstances seemed unbearable at the time, I felt a peace that only comes from Him, the kind of peace that transcends understanding, the kind that allowed me to keep moving forward even when I did not know how. When my mom passed away in her own bed, with my dad, with her loyal dog Desi, and me at her bedside, I was heartbroken, but also at peace, knowing I had been there for her in her final moments and that we had honored her wishes to keep her at home. Shortly after her death, my sister moved to another state, and unfortunately, the pain of loss did not end there. My dad, who had become my best friend, soon passed away from complications of COVID-19. His death left me with a storm of emotions: guilt, anger, frustration, and self-blame. I questioned whether I had done enough for him, whether I had advocated hard enough during a time when I was not allowed to visit him in the hospital or speak directly to the doctors about his care. I'd been a nurse in that very same hospital for many years, but during the pandemic, I had been shut out of the process forced to watch my father suffer from a distance. The feeling of powerlessness was unbearable. Watching him pass away with my sister and I, unable to be physically close to him, watching through a window, felt like an extra layer of torment on top of the loss. For months after his death, I could not pick up a paintbrush. The grief was too raw, too consuming, but eventually I returned to it, and with each stroke of the brush, the healing began. Slowly, the art allowed me to process the guilt, anger, pain. I did not have all the answers, but through painting, I could express the questions and the complex emotions swirling inside of me. In those moments of creating, I could feel God's presence once again guiding me through the process of healing. The peace I found in art was a peace that He had provided, a peace that washed over me in waves and helped me to find clarity amidst the chaos of grief. I had been carrying such a heavy burden for so long, but with God's healing touch, I began to feel lighter, more whole, even in my brokenness. Art became a tool for healing the spirit, an outlet for all that could not be said out loud. Grief is an ongoing process, something that does not go away, but rather evolves as time passes. In this journey, I've learned that we are more than just our physical bodies. We are made up of mind, body, soul, and spirit. When one part of us hurts, eventually the others begin to feel that pain too. Art can help heal the spirit. It is a way to give a voice to the emotions that are hard to express, and a way to bridge the gap between sorrow and peace. Through the gift of creativity and with God's help, I have learned to navigate the highs and the lows of grief, not by denying the pain, but by using art to process it. It is in these moments of creation that I have found clarity and peace, allowing the emotions to flow without overwhelming me. I cannot change the past, but through art, I am learning to heal. I am learning that true healing comes not from my own strength, but from the healing power of God's love and peace, which carries me through even the darkest times.